Hey, this is Tyler As Words. I'm planning a trip to Portugal in which I never come back. Anyway, that's enough personal stuff. Subscribe below and hit the links if you want to. Let's get into what I want to talk about on the video today. Yeah! Let's get down into the nitty gritty. I have a friend who, after every meal, we pretty much say the same thing, that we don't feel good unless we've eaten so much that we feel sick. I'm talking fat. I want to feel like I'm about to explode. I want to feel the button popping off my pants. I want to have to get up and walk around. I want to be wheezing, breathing heavily. I need to eat that much, otherwise I don't feel satisfied. I need to be bloated. I need to feel like going to the bathroom, but also feeling like not going to the bathroom, because honestly, I might have to look at myself in the mirror, and the passing image of me in the side view, the profile view, will be so depressing that I'll cry on the way back to the table. And I don't want to have to cry in front of one of my friends who I've been telling my whole life I'm actually quite manly, and feeling of fat where, you know, you feel like the guy in Seven, you know, the first murder victim, where his belly's distended and he's been thrown up in the pot. And anyways, bloated, thus being super overfull and bursting at the seams from gluttony is, I think, from everything I've said heretofore, we can all agree that it is patriotic and wholesome, totally American. But then there's a different kind of bloat. I'm talking about bloated writing. Oh no, this is not wholesome, patriotic, or American. A lot of people get confused on the subject of overwriting, and they think that means writing a lot. I mean, why wouldn't they think that? It makes freaking sense. But microscope, the default setting should be writing as little as possible while saying as much as you can. When I first started writing, I wrote way too much, and still do. It's my, I'll still catch myself doing it. Although I think I'm inherently so lazy that counteracts my tendency to overwrite. So it kind of comes out as like a wash. But, when I first started, I was over-describing the wrong things. I wanted to write a lot is because I looked at the great books, the huge books, the big books. I mean, they're long. You got your 1,000-page tomes from Stephen King and freaking Ayn Rand and Cervantes, and down the list. Every person that was ever born in Russia, they feel like writing at least 1,000 words. And if you're a little fledgling minnow writer, then you want to do the same thing. You want to be a drunk Russian. Those people that I just described, though, keep in mind they're incredibly famous. They can do whatever they want. You can't do whatever you want unless you're famous. And if you're famous, you're watching this, I don't understand what happened. There must have been a mistake. But keep watching. But take the Russians, for example. Tolstoy wrote, I think I remember hearing he wrote Anna Karenina or War and Peace, and he did 7 drafts of 1,000 words each. And that's nutty. That's too much writing. There's too many words. He liked to write. He had a tendency to overdo. He got obsessed with himself, probably. He was stumbling around in one of those Russian shirts with the lace-up, things, and no underwear, and just a long beard. His wife was just head in hands and saying, "Why? And I don't think there were serfs at the time, but there were people out in the fields looking up at the house, and they were like, I don't know about Leo. Is he all right? Anyway, the reason he was going crazy is because he was wrestling with the idea of bloated writing. And that's what made him do all those things we just talked about. Really, this is pretty simple when you're thinking about overwriting. If it doesn't really affect the story or have something important to say about the character, you don't need it. It should be hard for anything to make the page, because you got a billion ideas, billions, and what you throw on there finally, and what finally makes the cut, should be a lot of kids should not get picked for dodgeball in this situation. Of course, I can see the other side of the argument, which means you didn't write enough, you didn't add enough description, you didn't have enough setting, you didn't place enough emphasis on the mood or atmosphere or the tone or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's fine. But I think if you're going to make a mistake, and you will make a mistake either one way or the other, even if you have an editor that's great, and even if you have a publisher that's great, you will either write too many words or not enough words. There's no perfect amount of words. So if you're going to make a mistake, err on the side of too little. I'm just saying. That way the reader can fill in the gaps with their imagination. And who knows, their imagination is probably more stellar than yours in that one situation because... they got the time. They're sitting around reading a book. Really, it's about trusting your audience, man, and it's all about leaving them wanting. It's way better than leaving them bored as balls. So I'll give you some examples of too much that are outside of the writing game, just to illustrate my point and maybe drive it on home. Here we go. Texting all the time. Talking about yourself a ton. Getting into MMA so much that you think you might want to try it for yourself as a way to expand your horizons. Believing people on TV to the point where you actually think they care about you. Spending thousands of hours wondering what went wrong with Star Wars. Taking a bunch of pictures of yourself in the mirror to the point where now you have a place where you stand in the bathroom. I'll flip that around to not enough. See how it plays out. A little noggin time here. So here's the not enough person. All right, so you've got a seldom texting, selfless, casual MMA fan. A take it with a grain of salt type who's a fan of the old Star Wars when they were good. A person who can go days, weeks even, without seeing their own image in the mirror because they have other things to do with their lives and dreams, aspirations, and a heart. Anyway, that's the person with not enough. And that's who I'm talking about. The point is, a little goes a long way. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go eat my evening meal until I make myself sick. Cheers. Please donate to my Patreon and all those other things that I don't have. Anyways, subscribe and see you after. Cheers.